In 2004, President Paul Kagame inaugurated the very first national leadership retreat, where leaders from different government institutions came together to assess their progress and hold each other accountable for what did not go right. Hailed as one of Rwanda's homegrown solutions, the National Leadership Retreat is held annually and generates resolutions on the country's key priority areas. According to researcher and analyst Frederick Goloba Mutebi, most government institutions in many countries tend to work in isolation, but forums like the Leadership Retreat help to unite leaders and give them a common understanding of the work that needs to be done.
The way governments function, actually, is that governments tend to be very disjointed, with every sector, every ministry doing its own thing. And where you find that governments don't have these kinds of retreats where all government officials, or at least senior decision makers, meet together to have a common understanding of the country's aspirations and where the country wants to go and where it is coming from and what it has done well, what it hasn't done well, and therefore what should be done better. Governments tend to do a fairly poor job of what they're supposed to do.
John Bosco Nyemazi, the executive secretary of the Rwanda Civil Society Platform, observed that the National Leadership Retreat has yielded tangible benefits, especially to citizens.
We see tangible benefits. Today we see Rwanda has become a tourist destination country. That means there have been a lot of strategies to achieve that. When you look, for instance, MICE as a strategy to be a high destination country. Number two, the governance model that has been put in place, putting citizens at the center of transformation journey, and accountability mechanisms that have been put in place, ensuring that, for instance, we now have the Human Rights Commission in place to assess the human rights. We do have the parliament as an accountability mechanism.
Every year, key resolutions are adopted from the Leadership Retreat. According to the CEO of the Rwanda Governance Board, Yusta Kaitesi, over 70% of these resolutions have been implemented.
The Rwanda Governance Board did an analysis of the National Leadership Retreat for the first 10 years, so 2004 to 2015, and the finding is for that whole covered period, at least above 70% of the resolutions were implemented. 20% of it was partially implemented. 1% of it was not implemented at all, and up to 4% had a bit of lacking of information. So we've realized that with the progress, putting in place a mechanism of assessing and reporting on the implementation of the leadership resolution has made it even more effective in terms of follow-up.
An analysis by the Rwanda Governance Board on the National Leadership Retreat between 2004 and 2015 shows that a total of 299 resolutions were taken during the 12 leadership meetings held during that period, with 30% of them being on social affairs, 35% on the economy, 29% on governance, and 6% on the justice sector. The 17th National Leaders Retreat is set to begin on Saturday, the 15th of this month of February. Fatima Tessi reporting for RTV, Kigali.